For all of the viewers of this content today, July the 4th, it is Independence Day for America. You know what I'm saying? Like, you think about July the 4th and what it means to you and to your family. It means, I'll just tell you guys real quick what it means to me. It means freedom. You see what I'm saying? I was born here. My family, all my family members were born here. You know what I'm saying? And to the last time I checked, we all free. It means democracy. You know what I'm saying? It means, you know what I'm saying, an opportunity. You know, the opportunity in America. America is a place where you can get a whole lot of opportunity. You know what I'm saying? More opportunity in America than in any other place. You know, guys, we spanning the camera this morning. We're going to get a good eye on the surroundings today. You know what I'm saying? I'm out here in Central Park in Manhattan, if you guys don't know, on the Upper West Side. You know what I'm talking about? But we talking about opportunity. Guys, excuse me. We're talking about opportunity this morning in America. You know what I'm saying? Central Park, Manhattan. You know, I'm just a little country guy from Mississippi, you know, and I come up to New York City for the first time at 45 years old looking for opportunity. You know, and that's something that America offers that other places don't. You know what I'm saying? The greatest nation on earth, the richest nation on earth. And those two comments, you know what I'm saying, can kind of be debated. Maybe not necessarily the richest nation on earth, but if we've watched America with the English language, with the American dollar, set the stage worldwide for years. You're talking about, in particular, American dominance on the world stage. It dates over 250 years. Dominance on the world stage, excuse me, it dates 40 to 80 years. Complete dominance, 40 years. But American greatness, in my opinion, dates 250 years from the Constitution, the very first document, the founding of this great nation. And the execution of that document, the belief in what was written on that document for all these years, guys, happy birthday to the United States of America. 250 years, man. You know what I'm saying? Thank God for the United States of America. Thank God that I was born in the United States of America, man. Patriotic today. 250 years. We celebrate. You know what I'm saying? Happy birthday to America. As you guys come into this live stream, I ask that y'all double tap the screen for me, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys hit that notification bell, guys. We're about to get into the content. That was the introduction. I do have to tell you guys real quick, though, this is the Tax the Rich tour. You know what I'm saying? This is episode number 70 of the tour, guys. We look in May, June, and July. This is supposed to be the last month of the tour, guys. We got a vlog coming out this morning at 9 a.m. Eastern right here on Legal Wars Live. All you got to do is click on the video tab. It's called Tax the Rich number 8. We went to 3 boroughs in New York City, showing you how New York City getting down, man, for the 4th of July. So make sure you guys check that out at 9 a.m. Eastern. That being said, man, we're going to jump into the content this morning, man. President Trump, he gave a big speech last night. Listen, I know I'm going to have some Democrats in this live stream. I know I have Republicans, of course, and I know I have independents. Y'all, please allow me to cook, man. Don't listen from your bias. Listen from a mentality of looking for the truth. We just looking for the truth. It don't matter who's the president on the stage. If we look at last night, we're going to go to Mount Rushmore. You see what I'm saying? And with that stage and that presentation, it was beautiful. It was gorgeous. And I'm saying we doing that for the entire nation. 250 years. I've heard people say President Trump is making this about him, and maybe he is. You know what I'm saying? I think the thoughts on that is going to be bipartisan. I think the Democrats are probably going to say that he's making it about him. And I think the Republicans are going to try to focus. But guys, even if you're a Democrat, what I'm asking you is try to focus, man, on 250 years of American greatness, man. We trying to celebrate. That's what we doing, man. So the stage is set. You know, Mount Rushmore, if you guys don't know, out in Wyoming, if I'm not mistaken. You know, you got a mountain with the faces of the presidents on the mountain. Okay? So a beautiful stage set out there, humongous, ginormous teleprompters in the background. So the stage is set, the scene is set. President Trump, all he got to do is come out and deliver a speech for America. Now, guys, in my mind, if you guys have been anywhere in America and you guys have not been hiding under a rock, then you guys have seen President Trump give speeches at critical times over the last how many years, man? 10 years. And so we just seen President Trump. We know he get off teleprompter a lot. He go off the cuff and he just start speaking off the cuff. So we seen President Trump do that a few times. And so anytime you have someone like President Trump, like I said, the Republicans gonna be like, yeah, he crazy. He's not fit. I mean, the Democrats, excuse me, he not fit to be president. And the Republicans gonna make excuses for everything he's saying. But what I'm saying this morning is we know that President Trump has a tendency to say some boneheaded and knuckleheaded stuff at times. I think he'll tell you that. I think he'll admit to you that. So I'm saying, in my opinion, on a stage that was this big, a stage this big where he's pretty much addressing the entire nation, you got to think about it like you are and like I am. The majority of us, the vast majority of us, we are off of work. You know what I'm saying? Tomorrow's Saturday, so you were going to be off on Saturday. So that's why you probably don't have a whole lot of people in here at this time in the morning, because a lot of people are still asleep. I know up here in New York City, they were having fun, man. They were partying. They were getting down. You know what I'm saying? But all the political heads and the people who are concerned with the future of America, I would say, I'm saying they were tuned in. And I'm saying, what is President Trump going to talk about? In my mind, the only thing I could think of is please, 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 please do not have President Trump threaten to wipe away the Iranian civilization. And I know that sounds funny to a lot of us in the live stream, and in a way that is funny. But I'm saying, to me, that was a serious request in my mind and my heart. I pray, please, President Trump, don't get out of here. This isn't the time to get off teleprompter. You have factions of the entire world who's watching this speech. Listen, a lot of people, I'm not going to say us, a lot of Americans have written off President Trump. Understand that. I understand that. A lot more people across the world have written off President Trump. But regardless of what you say, he is still the president of the United States. That makes him the leader of the free world, the US dollar. You see what I'm saying? Governs the world. The English language is the dominant, the United States military. He's the leader of all these things, man, that rules the world. So you got to understand that. So even if you don't like him, even if it's important for you to listen in and hear what the president has to say. I know you ain't got to work today. I know you was off yesterday. You see what I'm saying? It's the 4th of July in 250 years. Y'all might not be political people, but hey, when is it ever going to be a better time than today and yesterday and the day before to get patriotic? It's a big birthday for our nation. You see what I'm saying? So we going to hear what the president say, and we hope on that beautiful stage he don't get out there and start talking about Iran. Really, I don't want to hear him talking about no Democrats. Real talk. I don't want to hear him talking about the Save America Act. I don't want to hear him talking about no Republicans he don't like. This ain't a moment for none of that. You got to understand the stage. You got to understand the moment. The moment this is for is 250 years of America. That's why people are saying this is Trump's Independence Day. See what I'm saying? You know, he just got that $400 million Air Force One. It's a big, beautiful plane. I'm not a hater. You know what I'm saying? Hey, look, guys, growing up, I was a Saints fan. I'm from Biloxi, Mississippi. You know what I'm saying? And y'all know when I was a little kid, the Saints played in the same division as the 49ers, and the 49ers used to whoop their head all the time, man. My sister was a 49ers fan, and she used to make a whole lot of fun, and I used to always be mad, pouting, and crying to my mom. You know what I'm saying? You feel that? But I'm saying over the years, when I became a man, when I was a child, I spoke as a child. I think as a child. But when I became a man, I put away those childish things. When I became a man, I understood how to separate my feelings from reality. Because in reality, Joe Montana was one of the greatest quarterbacks, if not the greatest that ever played. Jerry Rice was one of the greatest wide receivers. You see what I'm saying? But at that time, I just hated the Saints. I mean, I hated the 49ers because I was a Saints fan. A lot of y'all hate President Trump because y'all are an Obama fan. A lot of y'all hate President Trump because y'all are Democrats. And I'm saying in this moment, if President Trump get up here and he give a speech, and while giving the speech, if he's talking against the Democrats, I mean, shoot, I was worried about him not saying nothing stupid about Iran because the greater implications of that, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the greater implications, as Iran celebrates the death of their fallen supreme leader. You see what I'm saying? Iran saying they're expecting 20 to 25 million people to come to see the supreme leader's death. 20 to 25. When I heard that, I almost couldn't believe it. 20 to 25 million people. We're doing a live stream about this on Monday, a whole live stream. You got a Russian delegation coming. You got a Chinese delegation coming. That's going to be ginormous. And I'm saying, to me, at this time, President Trump, because if you listen to the posture of the Iranians, their posture is that they want to continue this conflict. Yeah, boy, if you guys haven't been keeping up with it, that's the Iranians' posture is that they want to fight. They think it's beneficial, number one, for them to fight. And I'm saying this week right here, they're not even negotiating with the United States because they're focusing on that funeral and putting their supreme leader to death. And I'm saying they're mourning his death at this time. So at this time, I think these tensions are really bad. They extra riled up, wanting to fight America. I'm saying you had people popping out. The RGC commander popped out for the first time. This is a big time. Iran is expecting 20 to 25 million. We're doing a stream about that, man. And I'm saying, so at this time, this isn't a time or place, President Trump, for you to get flip at the mouth. Please don't do this. On top of that, this is America's celebration. On top of that, your arch nemesis, the Democrats, are saying that this is a President Trump celebration. So what the big guy gonna talk about? Guys, let's get down to the speech. I heard the whole speech. How many of y'all watched the speech? If y'all watched the speech, y'all jump down in the chat. Y'all let me know what y'all think. If you haven't liked the video, subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all hit the notification bell. A lot of Democrats, and more importantly, independents, they written off President Trump. A lot of them have. You know what I'm saying? I'm an independent, and I haven't written President Trump off yet. I don't know about the majority of the American people. The plurality, if they've written off President Trump yet, I'm not sure yet. We're going to find out in November. But I hadn't written him off. So I wanted to hear what he talked about, and the big guy started talking, man. You know what I'm saying? You know that them first 3 minutes of the speech for a lot of people, Waffle Jackson, that's whenever people are going to stay tuned in or they going to tune out. The first 3 to 5 minutes of the speech. You know what I'm saying? But the first 3 to 5 minutes, I guess, I don't know, I might have had stuff going on around me. I wasn't that much tuned in, but I was listening to his words. I wasn't necessarily hearing what he was talking about. I was, but I wasn't. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at this like, I hope I guess if this 250 years of America, I guess you could get out there and say for the next 250 years of America, we gonna artificial intelligence, he could project forward more positivity analysis. This is some analysis. I really didn't see a whole lot of that, but he didn't really mess up too bad either. So he starts off the speech, guys, and he's giving praise to the history of America. Yeah, it ain't no necessary, we ain't got to give specifics. He's giving praise to the history of America. Talking about great Americans over the years, all the things they've been through, all the things that they accomplished. And I'm saying he's staying on point and he's staying on message, whether you think the speech was boring or not. I'm saying, guys, it might have been boring a little bit, but I'm saying for President Trump, you rather boring at this moment than inflammatory. Because this isn't the moment to be inflammatory, not towards Iran or not to the Democrats either. This is a moment, if ever was possible, and I don't know if this would be possible for President Trump, because you just have Democrats who hate him too much. You have some Democrats who have too much power, or they have the power they have and too much money, or the money that they have, but they have too much hate for him. And that hate for him is non-negotiable. You see what I'm saying? But I'm saying for the time being that he is president, and he still has somewhat control or somewhat kind of a say in dictating the things that happen in our great nation. I'm saying at this moment in time, President Trump, in my opinion, him starting off the first 10 minutes of the speech we into now, and he hadn't said he was going to take Iran off the map. 15 minutes into the speech, I'm like, listen, if he hadn't even mentioned a Democrat, because I'm saying I'm having to like, I don't want to rewind it because I want to hear the big dog finish speaking. You know what I'm saying? Live motion. But I'm saying 15 minutes into the speech, I'm thinking, man, if this man hadn't at least criticized a Democrat, I probably just missed it. Did I miss it, y'all? 20 minutes in, 25 minutes in. And I'm saying the speech that I watched on YouTube, I didn't watch the whole event, just the speaking part. I watched him speak for 29 minutes. And I'm saying in 29 minutes that I heard President Trump speak, I'm not going to say that he wasn't negative at all. I'm not going to say that at all. But I'm going to say that his tone was right. His tone was on point. I'm saying I wasn't hearing him talk about no Democrats. I wasn't really hearing him talk about Iran. To me, he didn't say no boneheaded stuff. As a matter of fact, I'm saying to me, like, his whole speech was about America. What? Ghost, you almost 20 minutes in. I know you started off with the intro saying that this the 250th and a celebration, birthday, independence of the United States. But I'm saying, Ghost, you telling me that the 4th of July is about America? It's about the United States. That's what I'm telling you. And it's like President Trump, it's like he was able to see that yesterday. How many of y'all watched the speech? Because I'm saying everything he was talking about, I don't care. Listen, you might not be a fan of President Trump, and right now I could understand why you wouldn't be. You talking about Tucker Carlson, Fox News, #1 news host, came out and said President Trump is done. He came out and denounced the Republican Party. So I'm saying if you a Democrat or you an independent, think about that. I want you to pause for a minute. We can understand why Marjorie Taylor Greene got a beef with President Trump because of what happened with him. We can understand why Senator Bill Cassidy of Louisiana, because President Trump kicked him out of Congress. We can understand, you see what I'm saying, why in Texas. But what I'm trying to get you guys to realize is Tucker Carlson. Tucker's not in Congress. He used to be on Fox News, big Republican, big conservative. He said he a fan of President Trump. He liked President Trump still to this day. But on the politics. So if a big Republican can imagine Sean Hannity denouncing the Republican Party and denouncing President Trump, saying President Trump is through. You see what I'm saying? If somebody in your own party who really on the surface, they don't have no reason or nothing to gain for doing this. If somebody in your own party denouncing you like that, I'm thinking in my mind then, hey, you know an independent would do it. You know a Democrat would do it. You see what I'm saying? So if you feel that way about President Trump, I can understand where you coming from. You think he finished or you don't want to hear nothing he got to say, but I'm saying, guys, he's still the president of America. His words still matter. His actions still matter. You can't go hide in the corner because you feel like we got a bad deal and a bad, because I'm saying, like, at this time, he could destroy the whole nation. If we all just go to sleep, we got to stay awoke. We got to stay tuned in. So tuned in, I'm going to say, man, I know you Democrats probably don't want to hear this. The independents don't want to hear this. Not at this moment, but we get into a larger conversation. But President Trump, in his speech last night, to me, he did not say anything inflammatory against the Iranians, especially at a time when they're putting to rest their supreme leader, who the Americans and the Israelis killed, by the way. And by the way, they're expecting 20 to 25 million people to show up. We finna get into that. I'm saying he didn't say nothing too inflammatory against any of his fellow Republicans, or he didn't say anything too inflammatory against any of his Democratic rivals. You see what I'm saying? He kept it about America. He talked about America. He talked about America exceptionalism. He talked about America greatness. He didn't make it about Donald J. Trump. He made it about America. And for that, I just have to tell you guys the truth and say, hey, that's a pretty good job. But y'all Republicans, it's a time for y'all might to get upset right now, because even though that's a pretty good job, I'm saying we got ourselves in what seems to me, or what looks to me on the surface, as a pickle. On immigration, I can't say he necessarily got us in a pickle. But on immigration, I can say this, though. He might have done a good job on immigration, but he's got a lot of controversy. And due to the fact that he didn't run proper, or he didn't allow proper investigations to be ran, you see what I'm saying? I'm saying he's got some boo-boos on immigration with the death of Renee Good and Thomas and Peretti, Mr. Peretti. Yeah, like, I mean, you got some stains on your clothes. Even though, listen, the border's closed. And I don't care what y'all Democrats say. Even President Clinton admitted this, if you want to listen to his words anymore. But even he admitted this and said that, hey, they messed up. You allowed too many people in the country. If you was going to allow that many people in the country, you didn't keep up with them. Fatal errors. But what I'm saying is that President Trump came in. I'm saying that we know that a lot of people aren't being allowed illegally into our country. It's a point of contention. We know that they made a lot of mistakes by deporting the wrong people, Yeah, deporting the wrong people, locking up and detaining the wrong people. It's not just the death of Renee Good and Alex Peretti. Excuse me, guys, Alex Peretti. It's not just their deaths. But I'm saying if you look at an overall comparison on how President Biden did on immigration and how President Trump is doing on immigration, see, you Democrats mad again because President Trump. But that's not the whole picture, though. Christy Nome got fired. I believe it's gonna those. I don't believe. I know that Alex Peretti and Renee Good's deaths are gonna be investigated. I know that for a fact, 10,000%. You just gotta stay tuned. But overall on immigration, what I'm saying, it's an improvement whether the people give them credit for it or not. You see what I'm saying? But I'm saying moving forward, if we talking about the Iranian war and the situation America is overall, America is in overall, it's not just the Iranian war. It's things that President Trump can't even see. I say all these things, it's like the tale of two Americas. It's like the America where the people are struggling. Listen, I got a homegirl that lives in Texas. Probably already know who I'm talking about while I'm saying this. She married. She got a really good job. Her husband has an even better job, making more money. Together, they over 100,000. They have one child. They bought a house. It's one of the lucky ones. But I'm looking at how they're living, even as one of the two of them at least, if not the both of them voted for President Trump, I'm looking at how they're living. And even in them, you can see improvement. So I'm saying we're not going to just talk about homeless people, in which the Republicans can say they could point at a lot of these homeless people have drug problems. That's facts. A lot of these homeless people have serious drug problems. With the homeless, it's usually one or two things. It's either drug problems or mental illness, and they don't want to talk about mental illness that much because they haven't dealt with or addressed mental illness, or we haven't as a government, as a nation as a whole, we hadn't addressed mental illness enough. A lot of people with mental illness, they just fall through the cracks. We don't have enough help for people. We don't have enough training, not only for police officers, for a lot of people in government on how to handle and deal. We don't have enough organizations, funding to deal with people with mental illness. So a lot of times they just end up indefinitely in homeless shelters. You see what I'm saying? But I'm saying there are a lot of people, but we're not talking about homeless people. We're talking about working Americans. Americans who have a job. We're talking about not just working Americans. We're talking about Americans who voted for President Trump. Working Republican Americans. I'm saying these people are not, they're having a hard time. People making less than $50,000 a year, they're having a hard time. Can President Trump see that America? Has President Trump zoned in or tuned in to that America? Because the America President Trump could see is America with unbelievable gains in the stock market. I'm not going to say record gains. I'm going to say unbelievable record gains in the stock market. That President Trump, he tuned in to that America. He always talking about them gains in the stock market. All those billionaires in the cabinet he's got around him. You see what I'm saying? He was born, his father was a millionaire. He's tuned into the America where the rich are getting richer. I'm saying President Trump, like, let me break that down for us. In a regular person's mind, we gonna say under any administration, the rich is always getting richer. That's what regular people gonna say. The rich are gonna fare well. Whether Joseph Biden is president, Elon wasn't hurt for nothing under Biden. He ain't hurt for nothing under Trump. That's fairly, you know what I'm saying, basic reasoning. But if you talk to someone like who's really rich, like President Trump and them, they'll break it down for you how a certain president, especially in their minds, Republicans, can help the rich get richer for real. And that's what we've seen under President Trump. We've seen the first trillionaire created. It's to tell it to Americas, because Waffle Jackson, what about the poor? What about the people making less than $100,000 a year? What about the people making $200,000 a year in Los Angeles or in New York City, where the economy is? I'm saying, like, that part of America is hurting, and President Trump and a lot of Americans' opinions have not done anything to help them. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's my first 30 minutes in. That's my analysis on the speech. That's my analysis on where we stand on the economy. That's just the economy. Make America great again. I know, listen to me. If you're a Republican, this is as much reason as I could give you at one time. What I'm finna tell you is really, really good. I know you do not think, not a Republican, not President Trump, not anybody in his cabinet, none of y'all think make America great again. His definition of it is what he has accomplished to this point. Is that correct or not correct? Making America great again isn't a tax cut for the rich. Because I know President Trump spoke on a lot more things that he was going to do for the United States than giving rich people a tax break. So if you're going to make America great again, it's not necessary. So I'm saying, when are we making America? When are we going to start making America great again? Because that tax break is not what. So I'm saying, what else has he done for America? Because all the rest of this stuff is for the rest of the world. Him dealing with Iran, that doesn't just benefit Israel. That benefits Qatar. You know, where he got the little airplane gift for him, that benefits Kuwait and Saudi Arabia. It benefits Europe, him dealing with Iran. I'm saying it benefiting a lot more people than America. So when we gonna get to making America great again is what I'm saying. Because that one bill that you passed is not making America great again. We still got a $39 trillion debt. We still don't have all the answers on our business leaders and politicians molesting and going to parties with a bunch of children. There's still so many problems we have in America. So I'm saying, when we gonna get to it? I think President Trump understands this. He promised a golden age for all Americans. It was supposed to be this year. We were supposed to see the economy explode. Looking at the job numbers, we're still waiting on June's job numbers, but the previous 3 months, looking at the numbers, I'm saying you could have an argument for that, some validity to that. Maybe this was the year that the economy was going to explode. It hadn't happened to this point. Say, Ghost, why are you saying all this? We talking about President Trump's speech? Yes, we are. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of people who have turned their backs on President Trump due to the economy. Not as much due to immigration, that's what we talked about first, but due to this Iran war. I want to take y'all back just a second. And when we talk about the speech that President Trump gave last night, that's why I'm saying, on a stage like this, regardless of what you're saying or what you're thinking, I mean, you got to think of what we came out here to do. We came out here to celebrate our great nation, the same America of the Republican Party, the same America of President Trump, and the same America of the Democratic Party. Unfortunately, it's like it was a celebration that's why they called it President Trump celebration. Because it was really a celebration for some Republicans and maybe some high-profile independents who's still rocking with him. Even though his speech was on point, you know what I'm saying? Celebrating America, man. That's what we trying to do. And then I started talking about how the American people, in a lot of issues and areas, they're not with President Trump, and they tuned him out. And one of the main reasons is because of the Iran war. So let's go from here. 35 minutes. I'm finna get down in the comments in just a second, guys. If y'all have not liked the video, it's free to show some love. If you're on a cell phone, all you got to do is just double tap the screen, like the video, make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel, and hit that notification bell every time we could go live. But more importantly, Republicans, Independents, Democrats, 250 years of America, when can you come together? At one point. So President Trump, we happy as I don't know what. He's got a memorandum of understanding agreed to, and hopefully we're going to get ourselves out of this war with Iran. We're going to separate ourselves from this war. So JD Vance, we talked about it on Legal Wars Live. I thought the memorandum of understanding was a great idea, because it took President Obama, years to get a deal with Iran. So in my mind, like, you need to open that straight yesterday, because that's affecting you. In my mind, you need to get them gas prices down. You got an election coming up, big dog. I'm a strategist. You ain't gonna be able to do that if you include that nuclear deal in there, but the nuclear part is the most important part, but that's gonna take time. The memorandum of understanding, and that was a great idea. Not only do President Trump recognize the real problems that we have in America, that's in part why he got elected, in big part, but I'm saying he has a good idea of how to fix the problem. Remember Doge, guys? It didn't work, but Doge was a great idea if he would have done it differently. And what I'm saying is a good idea. The memorandum of understanding. Look, the blockade, without the blockade, America, in my opinion, there's a potential you would lose that war. Without the blockade, America and Iran would have had to get into an all-out conflict. See what I'm saying? So the blockade was a really good idea. To me, that helped save America in that war. America would have had to flex its muscles if it weren't for that blockade. That blockade put some pressure on Iran, and President Trump came up with another great idea called the Memorandum of Understanding. Gas prices gonna get back down. Everything gonna go back to pre-war. And behind the scenes, the United States and the Iranians will work at and negotiate, and that's not how it's went. That's why, in my opinion, it's like almost every time President Trump speaks with cameras in his face at this time is very important, because we celebrate a memorandum getting signed. It's victory. Oh, the memorandum of understanding was signed. That's victory. Ain't that under normal circumstances? Isn't that what you think? That's what we've been trying to do for the last 30 days. So the Iranians signed a memorandum, the state declaring the straits open, the United States declaring the straits open. I'm saying, like, they saying they gonna work together on the nuclear deal. I'm saying JD Vance, like, yeah, giving loud. So we thinking is victory. And then President Trump gets out there and says he gonna wipe Iran. He gonna completely destroy their whole civilization. You see why that speech is important? You see why even a Democrat might not be able to give him a pat on the back for staying on point last night. But I'm saying even a Democrat could say, phew, because I'm saying this is affecting all of us. I know some Democrats, they want America in full-fledged war, not for no good reason, just because they know it's going to destroy President Trump politically, especially in November. And once he get destroyed in November, it completely destroyed in November, it is done for him. He ain't going to be able to govern. See what I'm saying? So, I mean, man, like, President Trump, he get out there and he gonna wipe Iran off the map, and then the Iranians, they don't want to hear that. The Iranians have not been able to celebrate the death of their supreme leader for the last 4 months due to this war. So he was killed by the Israelis and the United States, and they still have not celebrated his death. And I'm saying, if you expecting 20 to 25 million people to show up at a funeral, I don't think President Trump could get 20 to 25 million people to show up at his funeral. And he's among, if not the most popular U.S. president, according to statistics and history. Most of us didn't know of Barack Obama before he ran. Most of us knew who Donald J. Trump was before he ever ran for president. And I'm saying, like, I don't know if you could get 20 to 25 million Americans, yet alone people from all over the world, to come to his funeral if he died tomorrow. God forbid. So I'm saying, just the fact that the Iranians, to me, if we gonna see how it turned out, but if they could get 25 million, 20 million, I don't care if it's 16 million people to come to a dead terrorist funeral, where are all these people coming from? And I hate to talk like this, because I feel like as Americans, we need to change our attitude and opinion towards the Iranians. Maybe not so as much the regime, but I'm saying, golly, I thought the world was celebrating when this dude died. You think 16 million people coming to your funeral, and I'm talking about they coming from 36 nations. And he a dead terrorist. He got China, he got Russia, and 34 more nations coming to pay their respects to the supreme leader. They said the security in Iran is on high alert. People from all over the world. I'm sure most, if not all, the BRICS nations. All of the people who be whispering behind America's back. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not going to see President Trump. Where President Trump at? Where's Speaker Johnson at? What I got to say is so important right now. I wish I could speak directly to him to get something in his mind. Because drawing from the symbolism Iran is putting on with the supreme leader's funeral, there's a lot of sermons, political sermons I could preach, conclusions that I'm drawing. I'm saying, because you got 20 million people estimated to come to a dead. I'm saying, did the world hate him as much as... But to President Trump, what I want you to realize who your friends are is, because you hate Iran. President Trump, you despise the supreme leader. Bad man, evil man, correct or not correct? Guess who's gonna be at his funeral? A man you call your friend, Putin. Not a man that I called your friend, President Trump, strategy or not. A man that you call your own friend. You said it, they could play it, CNN could play it 1,000 times. You call Putin your friend. Well, guess what? He gonna be at your friend Putin, gonna be at your arch enemy, the supreme leader, who you killed. Imagine that. Imagine you killing a guy, and your quote unquote friend is going to his funeral. Yeah. Guess who else gonna be at your arch enemy who you killed's funeral? Your friend, China. Your friend, they your friend, big friend, President Trump. China and Russia, your big friends. And they going to the dude's funeral that you killed. Your friends are. That's who gonna be at his funeral. But you know who ain't gonna be at his funeral? President Trump, Speaker Johnson, a nation that President Trump made fun of, the Canadians. President Trump friends with Russia, and he friends with China, and he making fun of the Canadians. He making fun of the British, He making fun of the Europeans, but ain't none of the Europeans gonna be at the Supreme Leader's funeral though. Your friends, the people who really care for you, they gonna show up for your funeral. Symbolism or not. Your mama if she don't come to anything else that you do, she gonna be there when you born, and she gonna be there if you die prematurely before she do. The people who love you, they gonna show up at your funeral. Your friends, who's showing up at the Supreme Leader's funeral? Who's showing up at the funeral of the man that the Americans killed, that the Americans hate? And who not showing up? To me, that means a lot. And that has a lot to do with a lot of things that's going on in this world. And a lot of that is tied to President Trump's speech. A lot of that is tied to President Trump's words. And I'm saying there's a lot of times that President Trump get up there and he speak off the cuff. He started it off, I'm gonna build a wall and make Mexico pay for it. He started it off with that. I'm saying this election cycle, they eating the cats and the dogs. There's a lot of speech that he gives that the Republicans are going behind and explaining away. Well, I'm saying this is a situation with Iran where the speech is dangerous. That's why his speech last night was so important. Because the ceasefire became fragile because of President Trump's words. This is a situation in which his words are ever so important. They're ever so weighty. Going against this terrorist regime who wants to continue to fight America. The Iranians are saying it. Imagine, listen to me. You a proud regime. You a proud organization. Imagine the Iranian. Their civilization was here for 2,200 years, and America wasn't even a twinkle in his father's eye. America wasn't even thought of. And the Iranian civilization was around for 2,200 years. So you can imagine at 2,500 plus years how proud that civilization is. So you, as a civilization, you have these new coming Americans, and Israel is probably one of the only nations who their nation is newer than America. The two newbies on the world stage. And they your arch nemesis, and they saying that, wait, you got the president of one of them saying he finna what? I mean, that's what the Supreme Leader used to say to him. He was going to do to Israel. The Supreme Leader used to say he was going to take Israel off the map. Now you got the American president saying he going to take the Iranians off the map. Ain't it ironic? But I mean, to me, it's kind of funny, but it really ain't funny because it's a serious situation. And I'm saying the Iranians, they not going to play that, or they not going to tolerate that. Every time y'all let President Trump say that, y'all could almost count a $35 million Apache going down over the Strait of Hormuz. Every time y'all let President Trump get up there and say he going to take Iran off the map, you probably gonna get a $10 million tanker being sunk in the Strait of Hormuz. You gonna get the Iranians closing the strait if they don't end up with the complete control over the strait, because that's a possibility. The Iranians might end up with complete control over the strait. There's so much riding on this situation. That's why it's not the time to be a monkey with your mouth. This ain't the time for no art or no deal. This is a whole different scenario and situation going on, and I'ma just break it down for you and give you the God's honest truth. It's not like I'm giving. Listen, the speech President Trump did stand on point and stand on message. Barack Obama do that in his sleep. I don't care, President Trump. Y'all can hate on Obama all you want to. But I'm saying he gave so many speeches where all he did was he stayed straight on message, straight on point. You know what I'm saying? He ain't talking about no Republicans. He ain't talking about his predecessor. He on message and on point. President Trump, I mean, we know he's not a politician, but that's what I'm saying. We gonna give you praise for staying on point. But you can't just do it one time. You need to do it at all times, President Trump. This ain't the time we want to talk about wiping Iran off the map unless you want to guarantee your loss in the Senate. Because I think you already lost the House of Representatives. At least you could have some kind of check influence over the House of Representatives if you keep the Senate. You guys don't understand that. You losing power over both chambers. At least if you could keep one chamber of the House. Because I'm saying for you to lose the Senate, some drastic things that have to happen as well. And we finna talk about them in just a second. If you guys have not liked the video, you guys go ahead, double tap the screen, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys hit that notification bell out here in Central Park, man, in New York City and Manhattan, man. It's the 4th of July, man. Happy 4th of July to you and your family. More importantly, happy 250th birthday to the United States of America. That's what we're talking about this morning. Also, guys, I have to promote channel memberships. It's the Tax the Rich Tour. If you guys do not know that, you know what I'm saying? It's only 7:34 a.m., so we got time to keep cooking. At about 1 hour, I'm going to get down there in the comments with you guys, so just a few more minutes. If you guys want to become members of the channel, if you guys want to donate to the channel, all you guys got to do is hit that button with the $ in it, and your donations are much appreciated. That's on this channel. That's how we doing this live stream. I'm bringing you the content. Guys, I'm bringing y'all a video this morning on this channel at 9 a.m. showing you guys how the city of New York has been celebrating the 4th of July. You know what I'm saying? Tax the rich style over the past week from 3 of the 5 boroughs in New York: Brooklyn, the Bronx, and Manhattan. You know what I'm saying? That's coming up today. Guys, listen, what I'm going to talk about is the greater implications. Why should President Trump control his speech? Good job last night, staying on point, staying on message. I imagine he'll be doing it today. So it's like at least his handlers getting to him and saying, hey, President Trump, hey, President Trump, listen, today, yesterday, it's not about you, big dog. It's about America, the United States. So stay on topic. Stay talking about the United States. Don't talk about no Democrats. Don't talk about no Republicans. And don't talk about no Iran. Talk about America and what America means and all the greatness that America has achieved. You see what I'm saying? That's important. Because what I'm saying is that Iran war is directly connected to Texas becoming blue. Directly. Look, James Tellerico, in my opinion, is a much better candidate than Ken Paxton. Whether you agree with that or not. You see what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't want to run Ken Paxton's campaign because of all the controversy he has on him, but President Trump got controversy on him too. I wouldn't want to run his campaign, but look what happened. He won. So that don't mean he can't win. And if you a betting person or you a numbers person since the 80s, imagine how many elections individually since the 80s that happened and Texas went Republican. So I'm saying, what difference would you say in your own mind that would be the difference that will happen in 2026? You would count on it to go red. But what I'm trying to tell you is, man, it's a really good possibility that Texas could go blue. That's what the Iran war, the potential the Iran war has to do on President Trump. It's a good opportunity that Ohio could go blue in the Senate race. It's a good opportunity. We talking about Alaska. We talking about Maine. We talking about Iowa. The Democrats in play. I'm saying that's going to mean a lot to President Trump the day after the midterms. You don't believe it will? You don't think it will? Think about this. President Trump last year, 2025, within his first 12 months of being in the White House, he's still got 3 years to, he's still got a whole calendar year, over a whole calendar year into the midterms. Within his first 12 months in the White House, he still has over a whole 12 months into the midterm. He on the phone with Governor Abbott asking him to draw 5 seats. How many of us remember that? So from there to today, right now with the Save America Act, this has been ever so present on President Trump's mind. It's like I think what President Trump was missing is him joining the military. He should have joined the military. He could have been an officer. Because President Trump, he's got this much discipline he doesn't have. Listen, a lot of personality traits President Trump have, I have too. You see what I'm saying? I have an impulse disorder. You know what I'm saying? I get angry sometimes at what things meant to wrong. I say things at times I shouldn't. But what I'm saying, I was in the military. And even though I have a disability, I'm saying I had this much discipline instilled in me to where I could get into it with somebody that y'all might know and y'all might see on this live stream. I got enough discipline not to come on here and badmouth people just because I feel like it, or just because I'm mad at them, or just because I'm trying to prove a point, calling their first and last names. And you got to understand the person I am. Like I said, just like President Trump, if not worse, I got an impulse disorder. I can't work because of it. Disability because of it. But I got enough discipline. President Trump in these moments at 80 years old has to have the discipline. I wouldn't even mention the nation of Iran at all. In my opinion, he needs to be completely disconnected from those negotiations. As a matter of fact, I think, in my opinion, Jared Kushner isn't that his name? I think, and Witkoff, I think they need to be disconnected from them negotiations. I think you could keep J.D. Vance connected with the Iranian negotiations, but I think you need General Kane to be the lead negotiator with Iran. Yeah, the military. General Kane negotiated with Iran. I think he's smart enough to know that if the military don't have some of the best negotiators in the world, they could go recruit them. CIA could go recruit them. That's what you need. You need professional negotiators. You need people with knowledge of nuclear material and how nuclear material works to negotiate with Iran. That's what I believe. And I'm saying completely disconnecting President Trump from the situation will keep him from saying he gonna wipe Iran off the map and give Iran the excuse that they want to continue the war. They don't care about continuing the war. Trust me and believe. And regardless, Waffle Jackson, regardless of whatever they saying or however they feeling or whatever they thinking, they're going to find out you see 20 million people at the Supreme Leader's funeral. That make him look like he more popular than President. This the bad guy. Ain't he? Ain't the Supreme Leader the bad guy? You know what I'm saying? Batman the good guy. Say President Trump, Batman. This the Joker. This the Joker's funeral. Joker got more people than Batman at his funeral. What? Someone says anyone who thinks tax the rich is actually a solution needs a restart. Too many rads. If that's what you think, you might call it a restart, but it's not a restart. You can't give me no restart. There's no restarts you could give me. I'm not a part of your program. It's your program that you are part of. So in your mind, you deceived yourself and you think I'm a part of it. I'm not a part of your program. I ain't never started on your program. I never started the first whatever on your program. I'm not a part of your program. How can I restart? Restart what? What am I restarting? You talking about I need a life restart? What kind of restart I need? I'm not a part of your program, too many reds. That's the first problem you have. So there's no restart that I need or that you can give me. And you can't define the restart that I need. Actually, you saying tax the rich is a solution. I never said it's a solution. But if you think that giving people a tax break is a solution, you need more than a restart. You need to be deported from our country. If you think a solution at any point, a solution to fixing the problems in America is giving a man who's worth $1 trillion a break from paying taxes and collecting taxes from a woman making $80,000 a year who got 2 kids and she's single, then I'm saying you don't need a restart. Your problem is you probably need a brain operation. Ain't no solution at all. No kind of solution. Is, bro, in my mind, giving a rich man a tax break is corruption. I would rather President Trump make $2 billion in a year and don't give a rich man a tax break. Because you're taking food literally out of people's mouths when you do that. I would rather President Trump make $2 billion a year and look away from that like there ain't nothing to see here. No corruption here. This might be the most money that y'all made ever in history, but nothing to see here. No corruption here. I would rather him make $2 billion a year than for him to give a rich person a tax break. It don't make no sense at all. So you saying if tax the rich is a solution, then we know for a fact giving them a tax break ain't a solution. I'm saying giving them a tax break is borderline insanity. Because I never said giving a rich man taxing the rich is a solution, baby. I said it's the first step in the problem solving. Listen, anytime we get to a problem where we have to deal with anything. Look, why when you first come in with reconciliation, one of the first things you do is you pass a law on the tax code. Because the tax code is how you collect your revenue. The tax code, in my opinion, is more important than any kind of deficit you have. Because in order to fix any kind of deficit you have, you're going to have to get money. If you are $10,000 in the hole and you not collecting or making no more money, how you gonna get out the hole ever? If you $39 trillion in debt and you not collecting enough taxes, you gotta understand getting taxes, that's like 99%, not literally, but it's the vast majority how America collects its revenue. It's from taxes. Can you understand that? So I'm saying it's like your wife come to you, she like, baby, listen, we got to do A, B, C, and D because we ain't getting enough money. So you like, okay, baby, I'm a tell my boss I'm going to work 10 less hours at work. You cutting your own throat. I'm saying not to take up for President Trump, but I'm saying other Republicans did this. At least President Trump came in and he said, hey, I'm going to do tariffs and I'm going to get investments in the United States because he got a whole lot of investments in America. Over 10 trillion according to him. And he got a lot of tariff revenue. He didn't foresee himself getting sued over tariffs. But I'm saying at least he came in with a plan. Because I'm saying you saying tax the rich is a solution, then giving them a tax break, that's the only thing you could do. You either gonna tax them or give them a tax break. I ain't really seen nothing in the middle. Like you gonna either tax the rich or you gonna give them a tax break. You gonna move, you gonna redistribute the wealth. If you a Republican or a Democrat, you gonna move the money either to the rich or to the middle class and the poor. With that tax code. That tax code is way more important than you think it is. You saying that taxing the rich is not a solution. Let me tell you how important that tax code is. If you had a man to make $1 billion, somebody look up how much money did Jeff Bezos make last year? How much money did any of Elon's company or Elon make last year? If you had Google made $1 trillion and you tax them 90%, yeah, go back to the 50s. Look at the tax code. If you tax, listen, you saying the tax code don't make no difference. Taxing the rich ain't no solution. I'm telling you how, bro, you going against one of the best arguers. I'm a litigator. You think I'm sitting here spending all my time saying tax the rich and it don't mean nothing. You making a mistake to say that to me in public. Because I'm make you look stupid. I'm way smarter. It ain't just you personally, I'm telling you. Because listen to what I'm telling you, nah. Use your brain. If Google made $1 trillion last year, if you tax them 90%, they would have only made $100 billion. Imagine going from $1 trillion, listen to me, imagine going from $1 trillion to making $100 billion. Some of y'all don't understand numbers that big, so let me break it down for your little pea brain with your smart self. Imagine going from making $100,000 a year, which a lot of Americans do, you're going to understand this, to making $10,000 a year. You saying that ain't no big deal. Oh, that ain't no big deal. Too many rads. Imagine making $100,000 a year and having the government taking $18,000 of it. Imagine making $100,000 a year and the government don't take a penny of it, getting a whole $100,000. If they pay you $30 an hour, you're going to get the whole 30. If they pay you $89,000 a year on salary, you getting the whole 89. The government not taking a penny. You change that tax code, you giving people up to, I'm talking about hundreds of thousands, the middle class. The middle class. We're not talking about Elon. We talking about you know how many Americans, bro, it's only 800, 900 billionaires. You know how many Americans overall make $100,000 a year? You look up the numbers. I know the numbers. You finna affect millions, the vast majority of the country. And if they paying $18,000 a year in taxes, and you listen to Ghostwriter and you rewrite that tax code, you giving them an $18,000 a year stimulus. What affordability problem? What affordability problem you got now? If you rewrite that tax code and you giving them an $18,000 a year, they don't got to pay no taxes. You helping the middle class. You giving them an $18,000 a year stimulus. I'm talking about you going to be saying what? Yeah, you don't understand that. Let me keep going. How important that tax code is. Let's go back to you making $1 trillion and with a 90% tax on $1 billion, that means you got to give the government $900 billion extra dollars. You don't think it's companies that make $1 trillion in the world, do you? You like not in a year. Their whole net worth might be $1 trillion. How about companies that make 500-600 billion in a year? You don't think it's companies that do that? And you know America's the richest nation, so most of those companies gonna be in the United States if they exist. The vast majority of them are, or in Europe. But they all got to do business in America. Tax them. That tax code means so much, bro. I'm telling you, taxing the rich is not the solution. That's gonna change. It's given whoever controls the money controls America. Fact or fiction? Let me hear from y'all. Whoever got the money usually is gonna be in control. You don't understand that. Some of y'all don't understand that. Y'all think the president is in control. Or y'all think your mayor is in control, or y'all think y'all city assemblyman is in control, but y'all don't see behind the scenes that millionaire who's dictating the special interest. That's what special interests mean when Bernie Sanders and them talk about it. You see what I'm saying? The money is in control. You got to understand that. So whenever you tax the rich, the government is in complete control of the money. Because if a man is making $1 million and he has to give you 50 to 60% of that, if he making $1 million, you see what I'm saying? He got to give you 70% of that off of every million. So if you made 10 million last year, that means you only really made 3 million. You don't think that's gonna change nothing if you tax the rich? Boy, you smoking big crack. Y'all be smoking crack. I understand. I'm not gonna come at you like that, because if you were like Karl Rove, or if you were James Carville, or if you was what's my boy name? Steve Bannon, if you was a strategist, I say that Karl Rove, I would debate him on this. And the parts where he wasn't being honest, I would say he not being honest. I know what I'm talking about, boy. My IQ is higher than yours. I took the hardest test the military have to join the military, boy. I almost made in a perfect percentile of scores, and I took it when I was high as a kite. I promise you, boy, I'm smarter than you. That tax code, how you get your money, is going to define whoever you are. I don't care who you are. How you get your money and how much money you are collecting defines who you are. Period. Am I right or wrong? In our individual life, if you a garbage man that makes $100,000 a year, that's defining you. If you're an attorney that makes $100,000 a year, that's defining you. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm saying whoever controlling the money, that's who in control. Well, if the government is taxing a billionaire 90%, that puts the government in control of the money, not the billionaires. You don't understand how big of a change that would make to us for America. President Trump don't even get it. If the government is taxing you 90%, see the people, look, this is what you got to understand. The people who make $900,000 a year, they not paying no taxes. So it's like the government ain't controlling the money of the poor, and the government completely released the poor and the middle class, completely release them from any tax responsibilities. I'm telling you, that's going to change the policing. How many rich kids could go out there and do something and their parents got the money? It's going to change the influence in America. It's going to change so much stuff. It's going to give the government the power. Because the government is collecting the majority of the money. If they get 90% of $1 billion that's made in the country, they collecting the majority of the money and getting tighter on the tax laws, so you can't hide your money in Switzerland. Getting tighter on the tax laws, so you can't make $450 million like President Trump's businesses did and pay $700 in taxes. You robbing America. Tax the rich ain't a wholehearted solution, but it will take care of at least 39% of America's issues that we have on the table right now. And if you don't believe me, what you need to do is pick up a book. You need to get smart and go back and look at the greatest economic times in American history. And when you get back to the 50s, I'm going to give you a cheat code. When you get back to the 50s, you tell me what the tax code was in the 50s. The government controlling the money. That wasn't no socialism. In the 50s, we were scared of communists. In the 50s, they were killing commies. But the government was still controlling the money. That's not socialism. At least the leaders of the government didn't think that in the 50s. The rich people didn't like that though. So you know what they did, Waffle Jackson? They start paying the politicians and getting rid of people like Ghost and AOC and Bernie Sanders and Mendami. Don't call it a comeback, tax the rich. This ain't the solution. But I'm saying this is like a third of the problem right here. Let's fix this tax code. Imagine all the billionaires gonna be mad when they gotta pay 90%. If you make $1 billion, you gotta pay 90%. Oh, they gonna move their businesses overseas. Where they gonna move into? China? You an American doing business in China. How you think the Chinese government gonna treat you in the end? They gonna give you a lot of sugar, spice, and honey to get you over there. But in the end, what you think gonna end up happening to you and your business? They gonna steal all your stuff. They gonna steal all your stuff. They gonna make a knockoff of what you doing, and they gonna charge it at a third of the price. You know how many businesses the Chinese government put out of business? I say stuff all the time people don't think about. Go research how many businesses, American businesses, businesses across the world, the Chinese government put out of business by stealing their stuff. They gonna let Elon come build your Teslas over here. We gonna steal your technology. We gonna build our own EVs. We gonna sell them at the third of the price that yours are. You don't believe me? The Canadians just made a deal with them. Go check out one of them Chinese EVs. They got AI in them. Them EVs be talking to you. Real talk. And they dirt cheap. They done stole Elon's technology. I'm saying, where you gonna move your business to? This the greatest place for your business in the whole world. You wanna make America great again, that's where you start. Your number one thing is you change that tax code. That's the number one thing. It might not be as progressive. What I'm saying might not be as progressive as what AOC and them saying, but this is what I'm saying. If I'm gonna give you a tax break, how I'm gonna give you a tax break without an incentive? Giving you a tax break without an incentive is like giving Iran all the money that they want and all the money you done throw out, just giving it to them and they don't have to do nothing. They don't have to give up the nuclear dust or they don't have to open up the strait. That's the same thing. You can't give no rich man a tax break just assuming that he gonna go create a business or go create some jobs, because what if he don't create the jobs? He just got the tax break for nothing. Oh, we gonna give a rich man a tax break because they create all the wealth. Well, if you don't give him a tax break, guess what, idiot? He's still gonna be creating wealth. Where am I wrong at? Elon didn't create no wealth under Obama because what? He gonna find ways around it. He gonna start getting government subsidies. Okay, so you gotta make me pay more taxes. They get government subsidies anyway. I'm trying to tell you, y'all stupid people, you corporate slaves. Slavery isn't about these days. It's not about your race. Slavery is about that almighty dollar. In America, it don't matter if you black or you white. If you work for the slave master, that billionaire, he your slave master. Boy, you get you a $200,000 a year job. I know a guy now and live in Connecticut. You get you a brand new Corvette and you got you a fine little tenderoni. And that little tenderoni, the only time she going to work is when she want a Louis Vuitton bag. All her money she's spending, she ain't spending none of her money on the bills. So his whole $200,000 is paying all the bills as should. That's what the Bible says a man should do, be a provider. But what I'm saying is his rent for his house, he paying $2,000 a month. And it's not the biggest house in the world. So that's $25,000. You know what I'm saying? Just for your house. That Corvette, he paying about the same thing. You up to about $50,000 when you factor in that insurance. So if he making $100,000, Uncle Sam taking 15%, and with just your keys, you only making $35,000 a year in this economy. That's eating ramen noodles, because I hadn't factored in no kind of food. You see what I'm saying? You ain't bro, I'm saying, like, bro, I'm from Mississippi. Ain't nobody in the whole state paying no $2,900 for no rent. Not for no rent. I ain't gonna say you got 2 billionaires in Mississippi, so you got people who own houses. They houses probably bigger than yours in New York, because they paying a tenth of the price to build it. You try to buy some land up, you can't buy no land up here unless you got some real money, or you finna go in some real debt. You see what I'm saying? I mean, Mississippi, almost anybody could do it. Oh, I'm trying to tell you, man, is it the way you look at stuff? You gotta look at stuff the right way, man. I'm trying to tell you, when you change that tax code, that's gonna do a lot of things. It's not a one-all be-all solution. It's not a one-all be-all solution. Listen, you could say President Trump's stock market or whatever might have looked better than President Obama's. Listen, President Trump's GDP wasn't as good as, regardless of all the, listen, he got aggressive growth in the stock market. He got aggressive growth in the economy. It's aggressive the way he governs. Listen, but what I'm trying, he a business person too, but what I'm saying, over a period of time, if you look at the overall GDP, the overall growth of the American economy under Barack Obama, it was higher than President Trump's first term. I'm saying, I believe if you make less than $1 million, if you make $999,000 a year, you shouldn't pay no taxes. Imagine the people making $900,000 a year under Ghost, they gonna be ultra successful. People making $500,000 a year, people making $50,000 a year. And if the government taking 10-15% of that, that means you gonna have imagine making $50,000 a year under Ghost, you getting a $10,000 stimulus. You don't pay no taxes, $0. That's what you don't understand. I'm gonna break it down for you. This is the best. Are you talking about you don't have to, like affordability, you're gonna cure the crisis? Let me break it down to you. You're not gonna fix everything in America, because it's not only do you need to change the tax code, you need to build more houses. There's a housing shortage. You can't let 20 million people into America, Democrats, and not build more houses unless they had a plan. Because VP Harris, sure enough, she said she understood we got too few houses, because you can't let 15 million people in. All the builders ain't had time to keep up. We got a housing crisis now, a housing shortage. Yeah, it might be by fault, y'all, but this is what you gotta do. You gotta build more. There's so many, you name we got the solution. But the way you start off at, not from a progressive standpoint, if you want to give a man who Elon, you want a tax break, Tesla hire 100,000 extra people, we give you a tax break. And not you paying that 90% on the, I'm telling you how many jobs you gonna create. It's better than the tariffs. President Trump, with that same tax break that you just gave to those rich people, put an incentive on that. In order for you to get this tax break, you got to create how many jobs? And it should be tiered. If they create 5,000 jobs, depending on their business, you give them a tax break according to the wealth that they create for the American people. Not for the wealth that they create for their own pockets. They don't deserve a tax break just because they know how to make money and create wealth. That makes no sense. I had to do that. That was the best comment in the chat. It was. Because this the Tax the Rich tour, this episode number 70, he's saying that it's not that big of a deal. I'm going all around New York, not only the city, the state, talking about Tax the Rich. He's saying it's not a big deal. Oh yeah, it is. It's a real big deal. There's not a one-all, cure-all, be-all Listen at the wisdom your boy got. It's not a one-all, cure-all, be-all to problems in a nation with 340 million problems. You don't need 340 million people. You don't need 340 million solutions, but you're going to need a few solutions to solve problems in a nation that's that big. It's going to take more than 5 solutions. It's going to not just taxing the rich, but it's going to take more than 5 solutions. You're not going to fundamentally fix America coming in and giving rich people a tax break. You are carrying on the tradition. But you can change things if you take 90%. If you make $1 billion and you giving the government 90% of that, you're going to change a lot of things in America. A lot of things. But you're not going to change nothing by giving them rich people a tax break. Nothing. It's business as usual. That's a lot going on in that tax code. That's how you collect money. Imagine you going from being from a lawyer to being a garbage person. It's how you collecting your money. It's the most important. I'm trying to tell y'all ain't getting it. You just think because it's a nation, you don't understand it. It is the most important single issue that we need to address and fix. How we collect revenue. President Trump, he tried to do it. The tariffs. He tried to do it, but he should have raised taxes on the rich people. Maybe not as much as I'm saying, but he should have raised taxes on the rich people and tried the tariffs and got investments in America. How you gonna climb out a $39 trillion hole talking about we not collecting taxes no more? What? You know how Texas did that? They started getting money from the toll. Then you get more money from the toll, from the roads than you do from getting 25 cents from what? That's how Texas did that. They replaced those taxes with something. President Trump, you wanted to replace it with tariffs. You see, you can't. So what? You gonna still get that rich dude that tax break though? And you gonna burn 500 tons of food. You gonna give a rich man a tax break and you gonna take food from hungry people. And you gonna make regular Americans that voted for you have to pay higher taxes while you giving them a tax break. It does not add up, y'all. It don't make sense. I think the Republicans, over a period of time, they starting to see it. I heard Steve Bannon say tax the rich. I can't help you don't know it. Google it. I heard President Trump say tax the rich. Right before they got that resolution through on that, I'll make a video on it. Google it. Republicans, they starting to see it. We won 1 out of 5 national presidential elections. How it's looking, they gonna win 2 out of 10. If not 1 out of 10. The American people, bro, they not having it. The more the American people start hurting, the closer we gonna get to taxing the rich. Because the American people, as long as you got a republic that's picking and choosing their own leaders fairly, I'm telling you what's coming. In November, I'm not even gonna be that excited when I tell you that the Democrats won the House of Representatives. And things keep going the way they're going, I'm not going to be that excited to tell you they won the Senate either. I see it clear as day as the paint on the wall. President Trump see it too, like I've told y'all before. If y'all haven't liked the video, double tap that screen. Crystal says if he raised them, they would have called up their tax lawyers who could literally, legally help them evade taxes. Maybe so. That's why, Miss Crystal, I said you got to change the tax code. Miss Crystal, I said that whole tax code, it's that code, the whole code. Miss Crystal, you can't go from raising taxes on rich people and rich families and then telling people who make less than $1 million a year they ain't got to pay no taxes. You can't do that without changing the whole code. You got to change the code. I got a $39 trillion debt. Okay, let me break it down for y'all, Miss Crystal, so they can understand it in your personal life and your personal family. In your personal life and your personal family, okay? This Central Park, y'all are viewing Central Park out here in Manhattan 4th of July, y'all. Happy birthday to America. In your personal life and your personal family, right? Let's say you got a $40,000 debt and you only making $25,000 a year. The Republicans' plan is you need to go get a $15,000 job because, you know, the rich people create a wealth. You need to cut your own throat. Ghostwriter, the progressives, I'm not a progressive, but my plan is that you make $25,000 a year, you need to go get you a $50,000 a year job to get out of that $40,000 a year debt. You got to increase the revenue. You got to bring in more money in your pocket. The main way, almost the only way America collects revenue, America get revenue off of bonds and securities. They sell other stuff besides just getting taxes from their citizens. But the most money America gets in revenue is collecting taxes. When you cut taxes, you cut your own throat. You rewrite that tax code, you get 90% from a billionaire, at least 50 to 60 to 70% from a millionaires. Then people who make less than $100,000 a year, they won't be paying no taxes. Most people who making $500,000 a year, if you $500,000 to $900,000 a year with a family, you won't pay no taxes. If you single, I'm sorry, you might have to pay some taxes, but it's gonna be very minimum. So you make $100,000 a year, you paying 20% of your check in taxes. If you don't have to pay no taxes, I'm giving you a $20,000 a year stimulus. Immediately. It will help the middle class, it'll help the poor. It'll give America more money, not necessarily for the deficit. We need to worry about our national debt, but I'm saying it'll give America more money to feed poor people, to really roll up your sleeves and cure homelessness. President Trump, you on a golden age. This is what the preacher should have been telling you, the advice they should have been giving you. If you want a golden age, this is the advice I'm going to give you. I'm not a preacher, but I'm going to tell you this. I believe God will do this for you. If you want a golden age, take the $50 billion necessary to cure homelessness and cure homelessness. I ain't going to talk to you about this now, President Trump. I'm going to talk to you about this in the end of 2027, and I'm going to tell you guys why. Because at the end of 2027, President Trump going to see a lot of things the way I see him now, when he handcuffed and he really can't do nothing. The Democrats are attacking him from every side. God said a multitude of charity cover up a lot of sins. Imagine President Trump getting out there curing homelessness, or talking about or working on curing homelessness in the middle of those impeachment investigations. Imagine President Trump signing an executive order and finding $50 billion to cure homelessness, to make it mandatory for everybody on the streets. Whether they want to or not, they gotta go inside, and we got a safe place for you to go. 50 billion. You could take every person off the streets. You could get them off the streets. Imagine if you did that, President Trump. See, he can't hear me right now, but he'll be able to hear me yet next year when and you see that you doing that good. You should have been doing good the whole time. They wouldn't hate you like they hate you right now. Some of them bleeding heart Democrats who hate your guts, if they seen you, some of the reason the ACLU types, they don't like you is because of your deportation. How they feel like it's inhumane, the way he governs, too much chaos. Imagine if he cured homelessness. Just imagine. This is the kind of advisor I would be. Those traditional and old Republicans, y'all will hate me because President Trump will listen to me more than he would you. When I go into court, you could get your best attorney. That judge, if he gonna know what I'm saying is true. If nothing else, he gonna know everything I'm saying is facts and truth. He gonna listen to me more than he will the licensed attorney. Anywhere I go, it's gonna be like that. I be knowing what I'm talking about, my guy. That's just facts, man. Primal Scream says, imagine if he cares what you think. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what we saying. I can't say President Trump don't care. He just might care more about his own pockets, like you do. But I mean, you didn't run for president either, to be fair. So I can't say he don't care. You know, those kind of things, you know, they're hard to judge. I stay on the things that you can easily judge. I stay on the things that you can easily measure. Someone says homelessness isn't it's not a virus. It's a symptom of mental illness, not in every situation. You telling me that when you want me to start naming you all the famous and rich people that were homeless, it was a mental illness. It was a mental illness. I don't want to call people's name. I let them tell you their own testimony. You know how many famous rich people were homeless before? It's a mental illness. Jesus was homeless. Are you a Christian? Do you worship Jesus? You worship God? He was homeless. Read your Bible. He said, he talked about all the men who had homes, and he said the Son of Man don't even have a place to lay his head. Look at how he was born. His earthly parents, Mary and her husband, he was born in a manger. That's due to them being homeless. It wasn't Christmas when Jesus was born. Jesus is Christmas. It wasn't no holiday. They was traveling and moving around. They didn't have a home. Jesus was born poor and homeless. We talking about this. God chose to be born into a poor, homeless family. That's where the rich is at. You just can't see it. So I'm saying you could look at it however you want to look at it. I'm looking at it the way Jesus looked at it. I'm looking at it how Jesus looked at it. He went curing. Jesus was curing their sicknesses and their illnesses and their ailments. Curing. That's how I'm looking at it. Someone says, I live in California when homelessness became an industry. That's what it's all about. They making money off people being homeless. Thank you. They making money off of people being homeless. They ain't trying to help nobody really. I mean, they'll help 1 out of 45? They'll help 1 out of 38. You gotta have some success stories so you could say, "Oh, you see him? He was in our program, and now he got in his apartment." You gotta have some success story. But it's a business. It's money. I'm not talking about what it is. I'm talking about President Trump to help himself politically, to help America, to please God. To please God. That's what Jesus was doing. He was healing. Jesus was raising the dead. That's what he was doing. He was loving the unlovable, and he himself was homeless as well. This is God. He chose to be born not into your rich preacher daddy family. Jesus chose to be born into a homeless family. His earthly parents were homeless. Jesus's was. That's why he was born in a manger. Even as Jesus grew up, he still was homeless. It's a scripture. He said the Son of Man have no place to lay his head. So not only was he born homeless, Jesus, as he grew up, he remained homeless. He didn't just go through a year or two spell of homelessness, or he didn't go through a 6, 7, 8 month spell of homelessness. He was homeless his entire life. And that's where he chose to be born, God. Y'all don't look at stuff the way I do. I look at it the way it is. You look at it the way that it is in your mind. A Christian look at it from a Christian perspective, but not a Jesus perspective. It's the way they preacher tell them to look at it. And your church is an organized business. Your church make money. They probably tax exempt, but if not, they'll be paying taxes. They collect revenue. Your church collecting tithes, which is kind of like taxes from the church members. So your preacher around here telling you or trying to act like a homeless person is A, B, C, or D. Oh, God said that the homeless will be with us, or the poor will be with us always. Yeah, that scripture is said that that's not Jesus' ministry was for them homeless people. He was homeless himself. That's why God came back. He didn't want to come back as a rich person. He might have been spitting on the poor and the down bad. You see what I'm saying? But Jesus came, he came like as a poor person, so he could understand their plight. Jesus understand the plight of the homeless. He was homeless himself. You ain't never thought that deep in your entire life. He didn't understand the plight of a rich man. That's why Jesus said it's harder for a rich man, to enter into the head of a needle. It's easier for a camel to enter into the head of a needle than a rich man to go to heaven. Jesus didn't understand his plight. But he understood the plight of homeless and poor people. That's why he was going around curing and healing them. Y'all don't know that. But you a Christian, though, worshiping God. Now you following your pastor and worshiping your pastor. You need to pick up the Bible for yourself and open God's word and let God's word speak to you for yourself. So you could be like Ghost, because that's what I did. Read it cover to cover myself. So I could preach the sermon if God called me to do that. Yeah, if you being like Jesus, you gonna love the homeless. Jesus was homeless. While you hating homeless, you hating your God. While you hating Jews, you hating your own God. Don't even know it. Yeah, I'm trying to help you out. Use some real wisdom and some real knowledge. If you guys haven't liked the video, y'all go ahead and double tap the screen for me. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. It's the 4th of July, guys, an hour and 40 minutes. Truth over faith, you got to get down. You'll never disrespect the Lord Jesus Christ on my channel. You'll never disrespect God on my channel. I don't care how you feel. That's your feelings. I never disrespect what you believe on your channel. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, when I was growing up and I was 5 years old, it's people who believed in the monkey story. Like, when I was 5 years old and I was taught in class that the way humans got here was humans, like they were born as monkeys and they metamorphosed into human beings. And when my teacher was telling the class, all the students in the class, they was believing that story. But you know, big ghostwriter, I always been who I've been. I never believed the monkey story. But all the people in the class, they still believe the monkey story. But I was thinking in my mind, that's like a butterfly. I asked my teachers, I said, like how a butterfly changes, a caterpillar changes to a butterfly. That's how a man changed from a monkey to a man. Oh no, it was over a period of time. It don't make no sense. Oh, it's just a big bang happened one day. It's just a big bang. Hey, so you see all those Teslas out there on the road, it was just a big bang that happened. The story just don't make no sense. Oh, we look into the sky and you see all those in the sky, you see all those little lights. Those little lights are suns. Just like our sun and our light, that's a light. And so all those suns got little planets around them that you can't see. It's more celestial bodies than it is humans on Earth. The story don't make no sense. You gotta say a story to me. I'm a logic and a reason person. So if you ain't got logic and reason with what you saying, then I'm just not gonna buy it. I buy stuff because it's logical and it appeals to my reason. And even though, in my opinion, you gotta have faith to believe in God, it's more logical and reasonable, but to believe that there's a creator. I don't know anything in our universe that wasn't started or created. It has to have, where's the origin at? You say, well, God don't have an origin. Well, that makes more sense though, because God is the beginning. You got to start from somewhere. Everything that we see, them two girls that y'all see running right there, they started running somewhere. It started, everything you see that was created, somebody created. Somebody is an architect, a designer of it. So the stories that they tell of God doesn't exist. So your story don't make no sense. You still haven't given us a good enough explanation of how we get here. Listen, that cloud of dust that formed in the beginning, with all those rocks clouding together and forming planets, that cloud of dust is God, idiot. Y'all don't understand too how close science and God. I say magic. Science is God's magic. In science, all they trying to figure out is how God does what he does. So science is the technical view of it, but they try to act like science and God are completely different when they one and the same. You can't get no molecule or no atom without getting God, bruh. You know what I'm saying? God accomplishes everything that we see. You just don't understand them. Like you are dwelling within God. Like you talking about God is everything. It ain't the the creator is the creation. Like it's a little more complicated for you to understand, but just because you don't understand it, you can't say it's not true. Oh, it's a Mother Goose story. Listen, I'm a kind of person, if I see 90% of people believe, I'm going to examine what they believe in to make sure that that I'm not the one in the wrong. If I don't want to, if I'm standing with the 10% and 90% standing against me, what I'm saying is more than likely, a lot of times the crowd is right, but not every time the crowd is wrong. But I'm going to just make sure that I'm not in the wrong. What you talking about, ghosts? Are you look? Every civilization in the world is looking to the sky, worshiping and praying. They looking for God. Man is looking for. Every civilization in the world got churches and cathedrals. There's something inside of you that lets you know, bro, where we come from. How did it start? You got to give me you got to make some sense to me. Because the only thing that makes sense to me is God. God make more sense. Having a God and a creator makes a lot more sense than no God and no creator and just the accident and a big bang. Because there wouldn't be no purpose of life if this was all an accident. That don't make no sense to me. The thought of it being a God makes a whole lot more sense to me. It's just the thought of God is more reasonable or it's more logical. You see what I'm saying? It just makes a lot more sense. You saying it's no God, that don't make too much sense to me. That's what I'm saying. You said Jews, Christians, and Muslims worship the same God, and it shows, well, how they worship the same God. Everybody's saying, I don't know about no Jews and Muslims. Everybody who say who is a Christian is not a Christian. It don't matter if you don't like God's personality or the way that God is. What you gonna do? We're not talking about your mama. You just might not like authority. Some of y'all don't like the judges. Sometimes the judge is wrong. The judge is a man like me. He not God, but sometimes he wrong. I know that. I challenged the judge before, a federal judge, and I beat him. I knew he was wrong. They wrong sometimes. They men. But I'm saying God is something completely different. But what I'm trying to tell you is even when the judge is wrong, he the judge, you not. God is the judge. He is the ultimate, he's the king of every king. He created humans. This is his world, his way. Whether you think God is too violent, I'm saying, hey, he might be. I don't know where the two is, though. How can you say too violent? What is too violent? If you think that God is too violent and he's not loving enough, then hey, he's still, you could think your father, some of us might have problems with our daddy. He's still your father. He still birthed you into the world. You got to understand what authority is. God is the authority. He ain't the police. Some of us like just bucking against authority. I challenge authority. But I worship God. I'm a different type. A lot of people like me who challenge authority, they challenge God's authority too. I challenge a man's authority. I'm not stupid. I told you I'm a lot smarter than you. I ain't going to challenge God's authority. I'll challenge yours though in a heartbeat. even the judge, because I know he could be wrong. But I ain't gonna challenge God's authority. I ain't challenging the judge's authority, but I'm a litigator. So if he wrong, I'm gonna go argue. I'm gonna argue him somewhere. Take him to the appeals court. If he wrong, he could be dead wrong. I'm telling you, because if I'm arguing a certain way on the case, that judge, you just finna give him appeal loss on his record. Because I'm gonna be right. I'm gonna tell you that. 9 out of 10 times, I'm gonna be right. 99 out of 100, I'm gonna be right, bro. I'm trying to tell you. So, I mean, you could not believe in God. That's on you. It's a choice. You chose that choice. That's your choice. But when you came from somewhere, you believe in something. If you don't believe in God, you believe in the Big Bang, you believe in something. You got to believe we came from somewhere. And that answer is not written down factually in any book. So it depends on what you believe. It makes perfect sense to me. That's the whole quest of life. That's what it's all about. Life is a big test. That's all it is a big test. Not meaning that you're supposed to be tested by men or the devil, or tempted by the men or the devil, or even God, not constantly. That's not scriptural. But over the course of your life, God's gonna look at some tests that you took, and he gonna grade you. He gonna give you a cumulative average of those tests over your entire life. Facts. It's just a big test. And one of your first tests is having faith in him, that he even exists. You know what I say? I got more than faith. I got a knowledge of Christ. I came to the knowledge of Christ. You know, when he was alive, they had to just believe if he was God or not. You know what I'm saying? He just a regular man saying he God. That's tough. Even if he doing miracles, other people did miracles in those days too. That would be tough. I thank God I was blessed. I live in the time of faith. And I had a mama who just had that in her. And she took me to a church who really was believing. And I was really taught about a real God. See what I'm saying? So it's ingrained in me. And I'm going to argue you. I'll argue you on any day of the week. You ain't going to beat me. God is realer than you. He existed first. He created your reality. And your reality, you existing within your own mind, your own. You don't need, y'all, I could tell you some stuff, it'll mess your head up. You looking at the body and the shell, you not existing in this world. You existing in a different world while you in this world. Your soul. You just in your body and your shell. When you close your eyes and dream, you closer to reality in your sleep than you are with your eyes open, because all of this gonna be destroyed. That's what my Bible says. I don't want to get too deep for the people who don't believe in God, because you tell them too much, it's gonna make it harder for them to get to where they need to get to. You know what I'm saying? Sumerian, I read it, but I'm saying I read every book. Ain't nobody gonna change my opinions on anything. While I'm reading your book, I'm gonna be pointing out, if you say there's errors in the Bible, you talking about how many thousands or tens of thousands of years really the Bible was written. I'm not talking about when it was translated. I'm talking about when it was first written in its original form and language. And I'm talking about after 2,500 years, as long as the Iranian civilization, imagine if the Iranians remained in the top 3 powers in the world for that long, because they used to be the most powerful nation in the world. So imagine when the Persians had their rule. Imagine if, you know, like the Romans, they remained like China or Russia. They weren't America, but they still, that's how the Bible is. For 2,500 years, the Bible, I mean, from the time the Bible was printed in English, the Bible has remained in a top seller. The Bible is a very relevant book. How can you have a book It was claimed the authors wrote it 2,500 years ago and it's still relevant 2,500 years later. What other book's still relevant? You could talk about Iliad and the Odyssey or whatever you want to say. The first text was written. That book ain't still relevant. That book is still, it's just studied and taught historically. I'm saying the Bible is relevant in day-to-day life. It's a manual on how to live your everyday life. You can hate on God and the Bible all you want to. You just don't have enough wisdom and understanding. You'll never be smart as me if you don't believe in God. Because how a man gonna know where he going if he don't know where he started? You're not gonna understand it as well as I do. You see what I'm saying? How you know where you going if you don't know where you started? For the man who don't believe in God, he don't know how his end gonna be. He just think he's gonna die and he just gonna die out and he ain't gonna never exist no more. He don't know how he really got here. That's like you getting in the car. I'm finna get in the car and I'm in Upper West Side of Manhattan. And I'm finna get in the car and drive, I think, to Philadelphia, but I don't know to Philadelphia. And I don't know, and you doing it without GPS or a road map. You just traveling. You just going through the road thinking. That's how someone is who don't believe in God, because you don't know where you started at and you don't know how your end's gonna go. So you just in the car, just lost. That's why they call it, you gotta get saved, because you are lost. You just traveling through life. You don't have no road map and no direction. You believing in a monkey theory. A monkey theory don't explain enough to me. It don't. You know what I'm saying? You got to explain. I got to understand this. And you got to make it to where I understand this, man. I'm going to get one more comment, guys. Got a new 50 billion years ago. Went all the universe in motion. Do you be making these stupid comments on YouTube right now? I don't even know. That's your opinion, Justin. God knows the beginning from the end. There's no time in eternity. There's no Thursday. That's just God's sits outside of time. Justin, what am I saying what am I saying you don't agree with? God is the only being in the universe that could tell you the history of your future. What I'm saying that you don't agree with, it's not God's will, but it wasn't a surprise to God. He knew it would happen before it happened. What I'm saying you're not agreeing with, Justin. I don't even understand why you make that comment. Everything you said, I ain't disagreeing with nothing you saying. Some people just want to argue. The laws of physics that control us, God sits outside of them. The creator is not bound by the creation. No, he's not. I didn't say he was bound by the creation. The laws of physics is how he created the creation. What you talking about? You don't believe me because you haven't read your Bible like I have. Because there's a scripture in Revelation where God gives us measure. When God talked about Noah's arks, he gave us measurements. God believes in geometry or physics as well. And anybody in this who has read their Bible and not just like Justin, who's just looking for catchphrases or catch lines to beat you in an argument, if you read your Bible, you know God believes in geometry and physics and math and numbers as well. Because he listed the numbers of Noah's Ark, just like he listed New Jerusalem. He talked about gates around the city, and he gave you numbers of how he gave you some physics and geometry. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Physics and geometry is what God used to create the world. What are you talking about? Just because you don't understand what I'm saying or I didn't explain it good enough, you could ask me to clarify better. I'm just not trying to preach no sermon to you and tell you a bunch of stuff that you don't understand because you've been listening to too many preachers and been watching Joel Osteen, and I don't have nothing against him on TV too much. But I'm saying he's not going to give you the kind of understanding I'm going to give you. I'm not trying to get no money from you. I'm just giving you straight facts, knowledge, and truth coming straight from my heart. The question is not whether or not you believe in God. The question is, does God believe in you, bro? You just trying to be, I don't know what that means. What scripture that is? What book, chapter, and verse that is, Justin? The question is not whether you believe in God. That's not what the Bible say. The Bible say the question, do you believe? Jesus said, believe in me. He didn't say the question isn't. I don't do all that questioning. Not when it comes to scriptures. I don't do that. Not when it comes to clear scriptures. I'm going to stay on the clear scriptures. Jesus said, believe in me. What you talking about? Where? Tell me the first scripture in the Bible where Jesus said that he needs to believe in you before you get saved. Man, get on down, bro. People be goofy. See, y'all can't do that with God's word. You can't be goofy like that with God's word. You can't be a fentanyl crack smoker with God's word. That's crack smoking stuff. Well, maybe I do need to be offended. Just who cares? That's neither here nor there. I don't do nothing about offended. I just file lawsuits. If you break the law, I'm going to sue you. You could say what you want to. You could go into downtown Harlem and you could say you effing Negroes or you effing niggers. You could say what you or do what you want to, because you go to Harlem and you call the black people Negroes and niggas, you got to pay for that. Nobody, I don't care what you say or do. But if you break the law, you're going to pay for it. The police don't care what you say or do, but if you go speeding, go 300 miles per hour past the NYPD, this ain't about nobody's feelings. This ain't got nothing to do with nobody's feelings. This got something to do with words that's written on a page that you ignorant of, and I know. That's why I keep on suing you and you keep losing, because you ignorant of the words on that page. Your rules, not mine. It's not my rules. It's God's rules. A Christian's supposed to live by God's rules, period. It's not my rules. It's God's rules. I'm sorry, but I'm going to just have to put you in timeout, man, because like I can't have you. If I'm not paying attention to the stuff that you're saying, I can't have you down there sounding like you on point, but misleading the people, man. Because you could go to a lot of churches and get misled. You just got to put some money in the offering plate. They'll let you be a choir leader. You could go to a lot of churches, a lot of places and get misled, but that's not what I'm aiming to do, bro. I'm not aiming to mislead people, man. You see what I'm saying? I'm aiming to tell them the truth. But that being said, man, that's my time, man. What you guys could do right now in the next 15 minutes, man, if you still here, I appreciate you, and that means you're a fan, you love me, been rocking out with me. 2 hours we've been live on the 4th of July. I want to say happy 250th birthday to the United States of America, man. You know what I'm saying? Happy birthday, happy 4th of July to America, the United States. You guys haven't liked the video, I ask that y'all double tap the screen for me, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys have hit that notification bell. At 9 a.m. Eastern time, we got a new vlog out, show you how the city of New York celebrates the 4th of July. You know what I'm saying? That vlog is gonna play on this channel under the Legal Wars Live video tab. 9 a.m. Eastern time. We went to Brooklyn, the Bronx, and Manhattan. Some of y'all think that New York City is just Manhattan. That's where most things are in Manhattan. But actually, Manhattan is the second smallest out of the 5 boroughs. The Bronx have more people than Manhattan. Brooklyn has more people than Manhattan and Queens. But you know what I'm saying? Manhattan has the United Nations. Manhattan has so many things that the other parts of America don't. I mean, the other parts of New York don't have. So all the people, a lot of people, they think of, you know what I'm saying, New York City as Manhattan. So this new vlog, if you guys want to see the Bronx, you guys want to see Brooklyn, there's beaches in New York. You know what I'm saying? If you guys want to see the beach, how they get down, they start celebrating 4th of July. 9 a.m. Eastern time, right here on Legal Wars Live. Tax the Rich number 8, man. That's my time, man. You know what I'm saying? Central Park, 2 hours, 4th of July. That's episode number 70. Of course, we will not be live tomorrow, you know what I'm saying? But we will be live again at 7:15 a.m. on Tuesday, or Monday, excuse me. I'm sorry. So make sure if you guys have not liked the video, y'all like the video, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you could come be a part of the political conversation every time we live. That's my time, y'all. I love y'all. It's Big Ghost Rider, man. I'm finna get on down. You know what I'm saying? We'll be back on Monday, y'all, but don't forget at 9 a.m. Eastern time, we got a new vlog, man. Y'all go check that out, man. Happy 4th of July, everybody, excuse me, and happy birthday to America, y'all. I'm out.